Live from the virtual Laguna Seca Speedway here in Salinas, California. Welcome, sim racing fans, to the Apex Racing Academy F3 Championship live on Apex Racing TV. I'm your host, Joshua Lee. Joining me in the booth is Jack Cunane with Marco Barbanera down in the production trailer, giving you all the beautiful live pictures here from the racetrack. And Jack, this is the first time that Apex Racing Academy is sponsoring an official iRacing series. Anybody can go out and race these F3 cars in the Apex Racing Academy F3 Championship. What a great opportunity for Apex Racing to be sponsoring an official iRacing series that all the viewers can go out and race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's accessible to everybody, which is the key thing about this as well. So if you would like to get any of these data packs that these drivers have access to, Pete Berryman, of course, is the driver who puts together the wonderful setups for these cars. But it is great to have Apex Racing Academy sponsoring this official F3 championship. You can visit apexracingac.com, as you can see on screen right there, and you can see all the different subscriptions that you can get under the Apex Racing Academy banner. Fantastic bits of setups there. But we're here in the top split, of course, so some really quick guys that some of us will be familiar with from previous Apex Racing Academy championships as well, the ARA F3 championship, for instance, as well. But you can see the average iRating in this particular session, Joshua, is 3.2k iRating, which is far more than me.
Far more than me as well, especially on the road side. And for everybody familiar with our Apex Racing Academy F3 Championship, that was a league run by Apex Racing Academy. This is, of course, very different. Safety rating and iRating are up for grabs. This is an official iRacing series that takes place every 2 hours on the 15. And anybody can go out and race this with a Class C road license. And what we're doing here on the broadcast, obviously iRacing has its own points system for determining their champion at the end of an iRacing season. But here for the broadcast, in the top split races, we're going to be using the MotoGP points structure, and we're going to crown our own champion at the end of this series. So that gives these guys up here in the top split more reason to race during this time slot and more reason to really go for the win and race as hard as they can.
Yeah, of course. I was taking a look through some of the names that have been kind of getting their eye in earlier on. We had, of course, I saw Raul Hyman, for instance. I've seen Philip Eng in there, so hopefully he might make a little appearance in the top split one of these days. But there's some really fast guys in here as well. You've got Alex Dunn is currently the quickest man on track at the moment. David Holland, familiar name for any of those who watched the Apex Racing Academy F3 Championship, which was the of course, the Apex Racing's own championship. Of course, this is the official iRacing one, but David Holland was in there. Stratos Kilakitsis as well, he was in there. Waldemir Kardea is also in there. Stephen Varady, another one of those as well. So plenty of drivers in this one that would be familiar to some, but also some new names. We always like to see new names in there. But Joshua, Alex Dunn, I mean, that's a massive margin he's got at the moment in qualifying. Just a few minutes to go, and he's got 4/10 over David Holland.
Only one to get into the 114s so far here in qualifying. So we'll see if anybody can improve, as there goes Michael Job still up into 6th place. So 1:16.27 is fastest time. So we take a look at Ben Bishop. He goes off track going through turn 10 down to 11. That is definitely not going to help him, as that lap time will be disqualified. Zoltan Zometer, one that I'm familiar with over on the IGP Fun F3 series that I did in the last iRacing season with my colleague Austin Knight. Marco Barbanera is also producing on that one as well, and Zometer is going to stay in 12th. As here's Michael Job still going for another lap. About a minute and a half remaining here in qualifying. 8 minutes of qualifying here for everybody to lay down their laps, and going through that fast turn 6 onto the Ray Hall straight, he goes off track. That just goes to show, especially here at Laguna Seca, you want to push the car, but you can't push it too much, or stuff like that is going to happen.
Yeah, that's a very easy corner to do it at as well. The car just kind of pushes out wide. It's blind entry as well through there as you come up towards the corkscrew, and then these last few corners, got to get it right. This lap isn't going to count anyway because he's managed to pick up the off track, as is with iRacing. If you run off the track, your lap is invalidated, and he's going to spin it anyway in the last corner. Again, that's very easy to do, but either way, he is P6. But Alex Dunn, a very comprehensive pole position taken there.
And we would like to thank a couple of our sponsors before the lights go green here in the Apex Racing Academy F3 Championship. Up first, it's Virtual Racing School. You can improve your on-track performance with over 50 data packs for road and oval racing, one-on-one coaching, data analysis software, and it's also connected with Apex Racing Academy. So make sure you get over to Virtual Racing School today. And also, we'd like to thank SDK Gaming. They provide all of the beautiful overlays you're seeing on our Apex Racing TV broadcasts. And you can use them for your own leagues or series here on iRacing.com or add a virtual live HUD to your iRacing stream, showing timing towers, relative boxes, mini-maps, fuel calculators, and much more. So head to sdk-gaming.co.uk to pick up that subscription today. And we'd also like to, of course, thank Apex Racing Academy. Over 29 data packs, setups, track guides integrated with VRS and weekly group coaching sessions for these F3 cars. Our own Peter Berryman is the coach for that. And speaking of F3 cars, it's time to take a look at the starting grid for the first Apex Racing Academy F3 Championship broadcast here on Apex Racing TV. Alex Dunn takes pole position. David Holland in second. Gianfranco Bagotto in third. Connor Wagner in fourth. Stratus Kurlikitsis rounds out your top five with Michael Job still. Ruven Shashashvili, Nicholas Rasmussen, Steven Varadi, and Timo Winter rounding out your top 10 with Binish Lad, Zoltan Zozometer. Moving down the field, Jesse Alves, Marcus G, Amir Meshulam rounds out your top 15 with Jose Complin, Matthew, Lorenzo Esposito, Andy Flint, Civilian Nadanov rounding out your top 20, and rounding out your entire field, we have Thomas Keville, Razier Kevin, Navajo Klink, Elmar Neezer, Robert Plumley, Ben Bishop, Waldemar Cardelli, and Daniel Barrero. 28 cars all going to line up on the grid to go green here in the Apex Racing Academy F3 Championship. What an opportunity for Apex Racing Academy to sponsor an official iRacing series that runs every 2 hours on the 15. If you have a Class C road license, you can race in this series. But right now, we're putting our focus on the top split here on Apex Racing TV, as that grid clock going to run down. And we're going to set all these F3 cars loose down into the Andretti hairpin. Laguna Seca, a great track to get this season started. It's one that everybody joins the service with, and you race from the Mazdas all the way up to the McLaren MP430s in Class A. It is a track that everybody knows, that some love, some hate, but we're about to send 28 F3 cars down into the Andretti hairpin for the first time. 5 red lights are up. Let's go racing. It's the Apex Racing Academy F3 Championship. Alex Dunn with a good start. David Holland going to fall into line. Gianfranco Bagotto sits in third. The top 3 single file. They're going to go sparring into turn number 1. That's Connor Wagner on the inside. Outside, it's Stratos Kurlikitsis trying to protect the spot. Top 3 still single file, and they're still side by side for 4th. Now the top 5 all going to go single file through turn 4.
Excellent start from Alex Dunn. Really hooked it up there. David Holland going with him. So good stuff from him. Gianfranco Bagotto, you have to hang off the advances of Stratos Kurlikitsis, who falls behind Wagner right now. Back now to Ben Bishop. This is the tail end of the field, been all clean throughout, as we see a big stack up here of all these guys trying to file through this right-hander. Look at this. This is Lad and Kevin fighting up towards the left-hander here, and they managed to sort that out. But here we go. This is Alex Dunn now. 3-car train starting to form a little bit now. Gianfranco Bagotto is trying to hang on as they go to the corkscrew for the first time.
Bagotto sits in third, and you can see those gaps very quickly starting to form, but David Holland not letting Alex Dunn pull away too quickly, as we have one car on top of another. That's Ben Bishop. I think he's on top of Andy Flint.
Yeah, he manages to just floor it and get himself off him, but that's not what you want to be doing in lap number 1 in the corkscrew. And one car gets on top of another, and that is going to be race ending for those two. They're going to drop to the back of the field. Alex Dunn, 0.7 of a second clear of David Holland right now. Gianfranco Bagotto, P3, and then it is Wagner, Kurlikitsis, Jobstil, Chachashvili, Rasmussen, Vardy, and Zomator are your top 10s. We have another one in the back of Spinner, and that is Alves in the gravel in turn number 1. He should be able to get going again, but that's going to drop him a long way down.
Unfortunate for Alves, as he now falls to P21. It's a simple spin going through the Andretti hairpin. It's a deceptively difficult corner. If you take a look at the battle. That's Verity going sparring with the 15 of Zoltan Zometer through turn 5. They're going to go through the fast turn 6. Let's see if anybody makes a mistake here. 2 cars battling up ahead of them. They might be reaching this battle. They might be going side by side through the corkscrew. Up in front of them, that's Rasmussen and Chachasvili going battling into the corkscrew. Will anybody lift going through here? They're going to stay single file in this 4-car battle. Rasmussen leads as there goes Zomer to the inside, trying to make a move on Verratti.
Oh, Chachasvili just off as well, and they're going to come across the field. They somehow avoid him. I think it was Binesh Lad who went into him there, and that was so unfortunate. Rolled the car, gets it back on 4 wheels, but no, it was Binesh Lad who went off in front of them, but that's so unfortunate for him. He just managed to it was very marginal, and he just understeered straight into it. It was Filin Naidanov who just ended up on his roof, flipping back over again, but really unfortunate. There was very little he could do about that. As we go back to these guys right now, it's G who's kind of got himself in the middle between those guys now. Zomator is clear, Vardy's now behind him, so he's been the big winner. As a big slug, he's got damage, and through goes Gauthier Thornton at the same time, so Vardy carrying damage, I think.
That is not good for Verratti. He did get super loose going through that corner. We'll see if something similar happens through turn 5. Doesn't look like he might have some damage to that front wing from an earlier collision. That could have been just trying to get on the gas too early, got the car upset. He's now in P number 12. He has a mirror full of Razori Kevin, who wants that spot away, and he locks up going into the hairpin.
That's not what he needs as he comes down the hill for the first time. For the third time, sorry. He's just trying to keep himself in front at this point. As Stratos Kirlikitsis, he just made an error as well, as Michael Job still is trying to get on his back. But now look at Rasmussen trying to get in between these two as they come up the hill for the next part of the track. And that's as they slot through. Job still is trying to, Rasmussen's on the back of that train. Job still Kirlikitsis a little ways further up the road, so Job's still trying to keep with Kirlikitsis here. Kirlikitsis went wide in the last corner, and he's trying to keep up now, but Stratos kind of lost touch with the car in front at the same time. So as we look back now, so Varady, he seems to, whatever he's managed to gap the guys behind now. So I wonder, was it just a case of him trying to, big one for G, it's a huge one.
Marcus G goes flipping into the barrier. What happened? Looks like he's going through turn 4 onto this little short shoot right here. Very fast corner. And he's going to run into Marcos AlphaTauri.
Wow, and the AlphaTauri carried on as if nothing happened. The poor Marcus G upside down in the barrier, but that's not, it's not absolutely not ideal. But there it is. There is that AlphaTauri, but it certainly doesn't. Actually, it probably thinks it looks like it's carrying rear suspension damage of some kind as he files through. Kaplan, he carries on nonetheless, and they file through. Now, fastest lap for David Holland that time by, across the line, 15-0. We're looking now at Timo Winter, and behind him is Gauthier Thornton, and coming down towards turn 1. Thornton's had a really good race so far. He started a little ways back, he's fought his way into the top 10 and now on the back of Winter.
This is the battle for 9th place. They're both in the top 10. Gautier Thornton just wanting more, and he's trying to chase him down. He's in that slipstream, but it all comes down to, can you outbrake the car in front? And right now Winter is on rails, just trying to pull away, but Thornton has him reeled in. Really make a move going into the corkscrew. This is a big passing zone, albeit a little dangerous as he's on the back bumper, trying to get around him. He looks to the outside. That's quickly going to become the inside through the left-hander, and he's going to take the spot.
Beautiful move from Gauthier Thornton there. He teed that up wonderfully. Timo Winter giving him the space, but he just drove around the outside, turned to the inside for the second part of the corkscrew. That was brilliant driving from him, and he carries on now into P9. Next target is Zoltan Zobator in P8. We're looking back now at Binesh Lad, who is in P13, chasing after Esposito in front of him. And he's on a good run here. He managed to avoid that big smash in the last sector before. He's in the slipstream of Esposito as they head towards turn 1. Has a little look to the inside. There's no way through for him there. David Holland keeping tabs at our leader, Alex Dunn, at the same time. The gap staying at about a second, exchanging lap times throughout this one. We're looking back at Ben Bishop and Alves, who are fighting it out. That's very close. He touches him, and round he goes. And Alves, again, in the wars. He spun in turn one. He's been taken around by Ben Bishop.
An unfortunate day for Alves. That is not the debut he wanted here in the F3 Championship. As we go back up to the battle for the lead, and you can see on that lap time comparison how much faster Holland has been over the past 2 laps. He made up a little over 3/10 on lap number 4. We might have seen a little bit of a mistake from Alex Dunn, and that caused him to really make up that time. We'll see how it is this time by. And there goes Alex Dunn, fastest lap once again, and Holland loses another 10th to the leader. This is a very interesting battle for the lead, but it seemed like whenever Holland was starting to make up time, Alex Dunn just responded by gaining another 10th and setting a brand new fastest lap.
Yeah, he's controlling this really well as Alex Dunn, but they're really not hanging around. They're in the 14s now. 14.8 for Dunn, 14.9 for Holland. So there's no kind of sandbagging here. They're really pushing on lap after lap, gapping Gianfranco Pagotto, who is P3 at this moment. We're on board now with David Holland, very experienced racer here we're on board with, and 130 miles an hour on the brakes into the corkscrew, throwing it in, dipping a wheel onto the gravel. Got to be careful with the off tracks as well as they come through there, but just seems that barring a mistake, David Holland's going to struggle here to get onto the back of Alex Dunn, who is just making up time each time. A little puff of gravel as they came through there for the 7th time, 23 lap race here, using all of the road, and a little off track picked up there for David Holland that time, but they are virtually absolutely even on lap time. It's 1.2 and 14.6 for Dunn, 14.7 for Holland. Those are so quick around here, and absolutely nobody else is matching them at this moment.
They are the 2 fastest cars on the racetrack by a long shot right now, and they're battling for the lead, but that gap's still 1.2 back from Dunn to Holland. As we look at Binish Lod trying to catch Lorenzo Esposito up ahead of him as they head through the Andretti hairpin once again here on lap 8. A little bit of late braking from Lod, trying to catch up, hits that late apex, and off track goes Esposito. Here's the time for Binish Lad. Can he try and get the lead? Or can he try and get 12th place? Esposito, thank you, Marco Barbonera.
Yeah, Marco's very angry in our ear right now, so he's just come across Esposito. So
he always gets mad when we pronounce the Italian names incorrectly.
Yeah, exactly. We've all got given out to at least once, so we'll take it. We know we're correct now, Esposito, as they come over the crest of the corkscrew on board with Binish Lad as he tries to get in front of the man in front. And there again, Alex on a 14.5 out front, fastest lap again, 14.8 for Holland. It's going faster and faster and faster each lap, fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap. I mean, the man up front looks completely unbeatable at this point.
And it seems like right now, looking at the lap times, the tire wear isn't really affecting anybody too harshly. It actually looks like those tires are reaching a very good optimum temperature, that if you keep them at this temperature, they look like they can run a fairly good lap time, as the air temperature is 73 degrees Fahrenheit here in California, 77 degrees on the track temp. That's a fairly cool track temp, but if you get those tire temperatures up to a working temperature, they can be very fast for a while there, Jack.
Absolutely, it's not a boiling hot track either, which is good news for these F3 cars. They do not have any grip on a boiling hot track, so yeah, kind of in a nice optimum kind of track here. Is there David Holland running off the track in the background there? That's how he's losing time as he goes through.
Oh, jump still's off.
Jump still is off at the corkscrew. No damage. He looks like he's going to try and rejoin. That's going to be an awkward place to rejoin, but he manages to do it without causing an accident there. But he was driving really well, Michael Jobstil, and just seems to have lost it in the corkscrew at that time. But here's David Holland running wide in that corner, just getting on the gravel as he came through there. But Jobstil just on the entry, just swapped ends, it looks like, all by himself, and ended up in the gravel. It's a bit of a shame for him because he was running up in P6, on the tail, and he just has to, it's a really awkward spot to rejoin because you're trying to go uphill on a camber. He does get going again, but unfortunately he drops to P11 from P6, and that promotes Rasmussen into that spot now.
Jack, how difficult really is it to get that braking right going into the corkscrew? Because especially in these F3 cars, you don't want to get on the brakes too hard, but you need to get slowed down for that off-camber banked corner and immediately switch directions to the right after that left-hander.
It is incredibly hard to get the braking right because it's also a blind entry into the corkscrew as well. You're braking uphill, so you're on the brakes on a crest, and that really unsettles the car as you're coming up there. So it does cause problems. As you see, Jobstel's gone off again, so Esposito and Binesh Lad are going to go through in the corkscrew as well, and they're going to tap wheels going through there, get away with it thankfully, and they carry on, and that's going to lose them another spot to Kevin behind as well. So not a good day. It's gone from bad to worse for Michael Jobstel, but he just ran a bit deep. He made a slight error here. We're on board with him now as he's coming up to this fast left-hander. I saw a puff of gravel as we came through on that shot. So here he comes. Does he clatter that curb? He does, and that sends the front end into the air. The steering will not work, and that's lost him all those spots. I want to see how close it was on the exit of the corkscrew as well. So there goes Esposito, and then Binesh Lad tapping wheels very slightly, and that could have given damage, but we won't really know. But it's a very slight mistake. That curb on the entry into the fast left, you clatter that and the front wheels go into the air, you're going off because the steering does not work in the air, surprisingly.
So Job still falls into 14th, not the day that he wanted. As the sun comes out now here in Laguna Seca, clouds starting to despair. That's going to bring up that track temperature we were talking about as we're going to enter in the latter half of this race as we are now on lap number 12 out of 23. Those laps continuing to wind down as Alex Dunn continues to lead. David Holland in second, Gianfranco Pagotto in third, Connor Wagner fourth, Stratos Kurlikitsis rounds out your top five. But the top five completely unchanged from when we went green. They are all currently where they started. And your biggest mover right now, Daniel Barrero, up 13 spots. He started in 28th, and I believe he started also in the pits as well, and he's up 13 spots, now up into 15th. And you can see him, he's behind this battle between Jobstil and Razier Kevin, as Jobstil trying to take that spot from the 24. He's going to be on the outside. Can he make the move stick up there? Yes, he will. He's going to go into P13.
Yeah, great stuff from him there. So there's your license ratings across the board. So you can see David Holland and all those guys up there. A licenses up around that 6K rating mark. So some very high class drivers in here on the A ratings, the B ratings. Jose Kaplan on the C class, so that is the minimum license you need to join here. But it is a very, very competitive field. But you can also see the safety rating. The safety rating is the first part with the little 2.5 for Alex Dunn, for example, 3.7 for David Holland, and the I rating is the second part. So 6.5K I rating for David Holland, 4.2 for Alex Dunn, Gianfranco Pagotto 6.2. So arguably the fastest guys and the guys with the most I rating are the top three, but can't stress enough how long and how much of a grind it is to get up to that 6K mark. That takes some serious commitment, and you've got to be seriously quick too.
And Jack, how does that really change these drivers' approach to this series? Because we, of course, saw the Apex Racing Academy F3 Championship as a league with no safety rating, no I rating on the table. Now, here in the Apex Racing Academy F3 Championship, with it being an official iRacing series, now that safety rating and I rating is on the table that they can gain or lose. Is that going to make these guys drive a little differently than they normally would, or are they still going to drive just as hard and just as for the win as they usually do?
I guess it depends on if they're on the verge of gaining that license promotion, for example. Of course, the instant promotion is around the 4 safety rating, so some guys are on the verge of that, and they'll want to make sure that they keep it clean through these races. But for those who are up around the 6K I rating mark, around on that A class, they don't really have much more to gain, so they're just going to be going full send in these races. But for the guys, for example, in the B class, ranking, around in the middle of between 3 and 4 safety rating, they're the ones who are going to be wanting to keep it clean, because they want to get themselves into that A class license, so they can maybe get themselves into that McLaren series.
Job still trying to rebound after that spin we saw him do going through turn 8 at the corkscrew, and the off track that we saw at turn 6. Was able to get past Razier Kevin, and now trying to get past Esposito. Am I getting that right, Marco? I don't think I'm still getting it right. Almost right, says Marco. I will do better for my Italian producer, but you can see Job still behind him in the 18, weaving, trying to find any place that he can get around him, and he's not making it happen. Working in that slipstream, so important in these F3 cars. That slipstream is really great, especially on those long straightaways, but not able to find a hole to make that move happen going through the corkscrew. Now going through turns 9, 10, and 11, and back onto the front straightaway. High speed banks corners. Then this final left-hander, 90 degrees, get on the brakes properly, and he's going to go off track. I believe that does count as an off track there.
I think he just avoided it. If you run out wide on that curb, you will get an off track, but he just about slowed it down and turned it enough that he managed to get it slowed in there. But he did go very wide there, did Michael Jobstil. And you can see Esposito closing up to Binesh Ladd in front. We're going back to Thomas Keevil, who's on the back of Daniel Barrero, who's in front of him. Barrero made an error on the previous lap, which has dragged him into that battle now. So let's see how Thomas Keevil deals with this in the slipstream. A little bit of dirty air. The dirty air effect, you can kind of feel it in certain corners when you turn in. The dirty air, of course, is the disturbed air from the car in front, and it reduces the amount of downforce compared to running in the so-called clean air. So Thomas Keevil will be running in that, and he won't have the optimum amount of downforce over that car. I don't think it's quite felt as hard in Formula 3s as it is in Formula 1, for example, but you will still get that effect when you're running around. Your tires will overheat a little bit quicker as well, so doesn't want to run behind him for too long, does Thomas Keevil, but it looks like Daniel Barrero is kind of bringing that gap open a bit right now. Meanwhile, out front, Alex Dunn, I mean, he's checked out. He's 4.1 seconds clear now.
Sultan Somoter battling with Gautier Thornton. 15 versus the 10 as they go through sector 1. Somoter a little faster through the first 2 sectors, now going through sector 4. And that's done in Holland in the lead. So Holland was catching up a little bit going through the first 2 sectors, and then through the next 2, 3 and 4, Dunn was able to pull away a little bit. We're really seeing where those two are in their battle and who's faster in what section. As here goes Gautier Thornton. He's really looking for a spot. Slight lockup from Somoter. They make contact, still side by side, coming off of the corkscrew into the rainy curve. Turn 9. There goes Gautier Thornton up into 7th.
That was a brave move from Matthew Gauthier Thornton round the outside of the second part of the corkscrew. You don't see that too often. He did it round the outside of the first part earlier. Now he's gone for the second part. So he's becoming a master of that area. On board now with Stephen Varady as he tries to recover a little way. Of course, remember he had that off earlier on. So he's trying to recover into 9th place now. Timo Winter is the man in front of him as they come through turn number 1 through the Andretti hairpin in the slipstream, but a great move from Matthew Gauthier Thornton. He's made some great moves through the corkscrew today. 1 in the first part, 1 in the second part. So he's now got Nicholas Rasmussen just up the road from him in 6th place. He's got a way to catch up to him now. But we look back now to Lorenzo Esposito. Michael Job still on the back of him as they come up to the next part. He's onto the outside line, onto the braking zone. Now this is going to be very tricky. He's going to cut back to the inside for the fast left-hander, but he's not quite able to get alongside, possibly going to line up a move for the corkscrew. But again, look at that. Alex Dunn, another fastest lap out front.
Esposito still in 12th place. Job still in the slipstream trying to get by him, and he was really looking coming out of turn number 5. That seems to be where Job still is better than Esposito in this racetrack, but you can see him pulling away now in every other part of the track. Job still going to need to try and catch Esposito where he is at his worst, which seems to be around Sector 3, turns 5 and 6. That might be the best spot for Job still to make that pass, but they're going down the lawn straightaway. Job still in the slipstream. Not going to make a move into the Andretti hairpin. 2 apexes throughout this corner, turns 1 and 2. Job still just using that slipstream. This is the most difficult part about passing. He's caught him. He's in the same spot. He just cannot find a way past him, and I believe that was Navio Klink that was around in the background of that shot. But here he goes to the outside. Job still trying to make a brave pass. Esposito on the inside, not going to make anything happen. Esposito going to keep 12th place.
Oh, he's trying really hard. Here he comes now. He's got the inside for the corkscrew. Here comes Michael Job still on Esposito onto the break-ins over the corkscrew. But again, Esposito so late on the brakes. Holds the inside for the next part, but he loses it on the exit. Down to the next part. Now to the left-hander. Watch out for Kevin in the background. It's going to be a little bit of
contact
as they come through, and off the road goes Job still. Through goes Kevin on the inside, and that was inevitable. You could see Esposito just ran out a little bit deep on the exit of the corkscrew. That caused that little instant to happen. Kevin manages to capitalize on all of that. We're going to have a look at that again as they entered. So you can see Esposito runs wide, and you can see Jobst trying to find some space. Kevin is just kind of hanging back. Where do I go from here? And Esposito just a slight tap as they come through. There was nothing really malicious there as they came through. There's 2 cars going into one, and there's no space. On that previous lap, by the way, Alex done another fastest lap of 14.3.
They did make contact there, but it looked like a lot of that off track was that reaction from Job still that made him go off track, trying not to hook him and end up putting them both into the wall. As we take a look back at Navio Klink, who is the lapped car currently behind Alex Dunn. As he continues to lead. There's Job still after going off track, now in 13th. He was able to keep his spot away from Kevin, but is not able to catch up to Esposito just yet. Let's see what happened here, because he was by him. Razier Kevin, the Frenchman. Did he make a mistake going through these corners? There's the fast turn 6, and yes, he does through turn 6. Gets a little off track, the car gets upset, and he goes for a trip through the gravel. So that puts him back into 14th.
Just a tiny error from that. There is our leader, Alex Dunn, who is just smashing it at the moment. Look at the gap he's got to David Holland right now. 6.3 he's opened it out to. It was a 14.3 and a 14.3. What's it going to be this time? He's been banging in the lap times out in the lead, and nobody's been able to touch him there. 14.2. It's incredible pace from that. He's done 14.3, 14.3, 14.2, all within the same kind of 100th of a second almost that time. 14.8 for Holland. There's your difference. We're back now to Esposito and Jobst, who are going to go at it again.
We'll see if this one ends in an off track and maybe ending in some contact. Job still ran a little wide going through turn 6. He did not go off track, so he's still on the tarmac, able to use that speed as he can. They go through the corkscrew, now into rating curve turn 9. Blind entry through that one. You really need to make sure that you don't go off track. Same thing here, going through turn number 10, now into 11. Hard braking zone, 90-degree corner. This exit could mean a lot for the slipstream coming down the front straightaway. Job still right behind, using all of that draft that he possibly can as they go on to lap number 21. 3 laps to go. Here they go back into the Andretti hairpin. Can Job still make a move? A lockup from Esposito. Will we see a move? No, we're not. Job's still going to stay in 13th, but he's going to try and set up for another pass into turn 5, where he has been so good.
Yeah, there's another 14.3 for Alex Dunn as we stick with this battle. Let's watch Jobstel now. He's been very good through this sector, as you said, Joshua. And here we go. He's got a good run out of the left-hander. He's got to get a great run out of the fast left up towards the corkscrew. This is where he tried it a couple of laps earlier, and Esposito ran wide. Joop still not quite good enough up the hill this time. Is he going to have to try it on the brakes as they come into? You can see Esposito goes defensive. He gets out of shape on the brakes as they come down through the corkscrew. He's on his tail, but I think he's going to have to wait a little bit longer. There's going to be 2 laps to go across the line. This is the battle only for P12, but even so, they're going to fight for it hard.
These guys are competitors. Every position counts. Look at him getting so close to that back wing and just trying to get the best exit that he can. Joop still has been near Esposito for so long during this race, and he wants that spot. It's not really about, you know, trying to get 12th place. It's about beating your competitor, and he is just trying to make that pass, but he gets so close, just can't complete it. As there goes Barrero in the 27. Going to take over that spot from Thomas Keeble up into 15th now. And there's Esposito once again. Will Joop still make a move going through turns 5 now? This is where he's been so good. He's on the back wing. He's going to go to the inside. Does he have room? No, he doesn't.
Didn't quite have it through the left-hander, and there's going to be 1 lap to go across the line. The white flag is already out because Alex Dunn is so far in front that he's on the final lap already. These guys are not yet. We're back at look at this. This is Zoltan Zomotor, Timo Winter, and Stephen Varady about to go on the last lap. Winter round the outside of the last corner, side by side as they cross the line with the white flag in the air. Winter takes over P8, Zomotor the P9. Stephen Varady is trying to get himself into that spot as well. Winter's going to move in front, but here comes Zomotor on the inside line. He's going to try and hang on, but Winter around the outside of the second part of the Andretti hairpin, but he's managed to hold on to Zomotor. Inside line for Winter this time, on the inside line. Around the outside goes Zomotor. Varady trying to watch in front, and he's going to maybe get the both of them, but they come to the next right-hander. Varady slots in front of Zomotor. Zomotor loses 2 spots. Winter manages to hang on, but Alex Dunn wins by a mile in Laguna Seca.
What a race for Alex Dunn as he takes the win here in the Apex Racing Academy F3 Championship, the first broadcast here on Apex Racing TV of Apex Racing Academy's official F3 Championship here on iRacing. Pagodo comes home in 3rd, Holland in 2nd. Pagodo setting a personal best on the final lap. Now we're back to this battle, and Zomotor's around. He's around top of the corkscrew. He's going to lose more positions now. Here comes more cars behind him.
Oh no, he's gone to the service road and got wedged. He's got wedged. Oh, Zoltan Zomotor, he was in the middle of a great battle. He's got wedged in the service road, and he's going to not finish this race with just a lap to go. And look, Joop still got Esposito on the final lap. He's managed to get in front at last. He's going to cross the line for P11. Oh, so he's going to absolutely hate that. Zoltan Zomotor, but Michael Joop still, he finally got the job done.
Oh my!
On Esposito.
I think it might have been some contact there, and some contact especially with those cones on the inside, and that was all that Joop still needed, and he was able to get that pass made and keep the position. He came home in P11. Now here's what happened to Zoltan Zomotor going into the corkscrew. He's behind the 2 cars in front of him, Varady and Winter, and you can see just a slight lockup, and around he goes top of the corkscrew. Now here's the difficult part, trying to rejoin, and there he goes. He just tried to rejoin too quickly, spun the tires because they were already dirty from the gravel, ends up in the service road, and he is stuck, nowhere to go.
Oh, that's kind of a facepalm moment for Zoltan Zomotor. There's a slight drop off there in the service road, and the floor just managed to get caught on it, and nowhere to go for Zoltan Zomotor, and he will not finish this race. But Michael Joop still, he took long enough, but took a mistake in front for him to get across in P11. But the man who had absolutely no trouble out front, Alex Dunn, what a drive. I mean, that was fantastic to watch. The only man, apart from David Holland, in the 1 minute 14s. They smashed it today. Pagoto is P3. Great job from all those guys. But Alex Dunn, I think that's the man to watch for all the future rounds.
Full results now coming up here on Apex Racing TV. Alex Dunn takes the win with Holland in 2nd, Gianfranco Pagoto in 3rd, Connor Wagner 4th, Stratus Kurlikitsis rounds out your top 5, an unchanged top 5 still from how we started the day. Nicholas Rasmussen in 6th, Matthew Gauthier-Thornton in 7th, Timo Winter in 8th, Stephen Verity in 9th, with Binish Lod rounding out your top 10. Michael Job still in 11th, Lorenzo Esposito in 12th, Rezier Kevin in 13th, Daniel Barrero 14th, Thomas Keevil rounds out your top 15 with Waldemar Cardella, Robert Plumley, Zoltan Zometer. A mistake on the last lap puts him in 18th. Then Andy Flint, Elmar Nieser rounds out your top 20. Then it's Ben Bishop, Jose Coplin, Amir Meshulam, Naveo Klink, Jesse Alvis, Marcus G., Riven Chacha Shlevi, and Civilian Nagdanov rounding out your top 28 here in the official Apex Racing Academy F3 Championship. Jack, what a way to begin this top split season.
Yeah, it was a great opening round. Plenty of action from all of these guys, and I think that they've set up a great few weeks ahead of us because lucky for us, we've got 12 weeks of this now, from the start of the iRacing season all the way to the end of it, and fantastic to be a part of it, and it's going to be great to see how these guys are going to progress. But Josh, I'm going to hand you over because Nicholas Rasmussen is standing by.
Yes, he is. Nicholas Rasmussen now joining us here in the booth. A 6th place finish from you, up 2 positions from where you started in 8th. How was that race down there on the track?
All things considered, it was alright. I mean, I've really been struggling this week, especially once I get into the races. I kind of have not had the confidence that I used to. So, yeah, qualifying wasn't too good, so only started P8, and yeah, fortunately, I made my way up into P6 quite early on in the race, and from there on, I honestly just settled down a little bit. Again, I didn't really have the confidence, and there was quite the gap up ahead, and then also behind me, so I kind of just settled into my my own race, and yeah, brought it home in P6, so alright, all things considered.
And this Apex Racing Academy F3 Championship is brand new. Obviously, we had an F3 Championship here in iRacing last season, but now Apex Racing Academy hops on as the official sponsor, and we're broadcasting the top split races here of the series on 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time. How is it to really have not only a top split broadcast for the F3 Championship, but such a passionate backing from Apex Racing Academy and all that they do for the F3 Championship?
You know, I think it's absolutely fantastic. I am deeply grateful for everything that Apex put into this F3 series. F3 is definitely my favorite category. I think it's a very popular car in iRacing, and seeing Apex doing all of these things, you know, not just with their academy, but also like getting the F3 out there on a broadcast, I am massively grateful for that, and I hope everybody else, not just those racing in the league, in the series, but also those who are watching are grateful for what is being put into all of this, because I know there's a lot of passionate people behind it, and yeah, I'm deeply grateful.
Anyone else you would like to thank here on Apex Racing TV?
Yeah, I want to thank Alex and my team for getting my paint scheme ready for this race. I also got to thank Alcantech, our main sponsors, and again, you guys for making it all happen. Appreciate it, and looking forward to the next races.
We head to Sebring next week, so good luck in Florida. That was Nicholas Rasmussen finishing 6th place on the day. And Jack, once again, just what a day of racing. Domination from Alex Dunn out there on the track as he takes the win. And what a start to this championship. We're heading to Sebring next week, a very different track than what we're seeing in Laguna Seca. I'm expecting some great racing there as well.
Yeah, of course, Sebring. I mean, you're more used to kind of seeing GTs around Sebring. It's unusual to kind of see the single seaters go around Sebring. I'm looking forward to seeing them, how they're going to deal with all the bumps and stuff through the last corner. It's going to be great to see how they're going to negotiate that. But of course, long straights, there's also plenty of slipstreaming to be had there. It is going to be a fantastic event, and plenty more in sight. And it was great to hear as well from Nicholas Rasmussen that the guys, of course, are. It's fantastic to see an official championship being broadcast, and it's great to see the F3 championship being broadcast because it didn't have a broadcast for a long time, and it's finally great to see it getting the attention it deserves.
Well, we thank you all for tuning in here on Apex Racing TV. Make sure you tune in 1 week time at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll have the official Apex Racing Academy F3 Championship broadcast from Sebring. For Marco Barbonera, Jack Cunane, I am Joshua Lee. We'd like to thank a couple sponsors here on Apex Racing TV before we send you out. Virtual Racing School improves your on-track performance with 50+ data packs for road and oval racing, as well as Apex Racing Academy. Remember, Peter Berryman, the official F3 coach for Apex Racing Academy, so sign up today to get some coaching from one of the best in Formula 3 virtual racing. And then SDK Gaming provided all the overlays for this broadcast, and you can use your own overlays for broadcasting your league or series or streaming to Twitch. Head to sdk-gaming.co.uk for that, as well as apexracingac.com for Apex Racing Academy. We are now saying goodbye from Laguna Seca. We'll see you in 1 week from Sebring.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.